Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Caneswear today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you are out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Caneswear today.
It's back.
The green train is running.
Bobby, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
Good afternoon for the East Coast. Good morning on the West Coast and Central Timers. I am Bobby Finstock on the Finstock today on Finstock Sports Network. I am flying solo today. Fish Tank Hank is out, but he should be back next weekend. Welcome everyone for joining us, whether you're watching from Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. A lot to talk about this week. I already see a few people in the comments. Thank you all for joining us this morning. Got Ryan, AP, Raphael, always. Let's freaking go Miami Dolphins. Fins up from Ryan. Cap for life. Good morning, beautiful people. Always good to hear from Cap. And he has some commentary for, looks like, Tua's contract. We're going to discuss all that. Plenty to discuss today. Let me pull this up here. Make sure we got it. All right. Here we go. But yeah, flying solo today, kind of going old school, kind of like back in the day what I used to do. So it probably won't take too long of a show here, trying to run through things. But we got a lot to talk about. We got Tua looking to get that extension, a new deal. Or does he play on his fifth-year option? Should he play on his fifth-year option? Fish Tank Hank said last week that that's what he would do. Or what he would prefer is he thinks the Miami Dolphins will do is play on that fifth-year option. Looks like Cap for Life is about that. He's saying, Cap says, listen to Greg Cassell, Sean Merriman. Now you have Dave Hyde, Alan Popert, Chris Perkins, Adam Beasley, Mike Florio, Kim Bocamper, Mike Lombardi, Joe Shad, all say play the fifth-year option. Not to mention, Omar Kelly has done a 360 and said play the fifth-year option for Tua. I'm just saying, Cap for Life, throwing out the receipts on what other people are saying about Tua's contract. Let's touch on that. Let's talk about what Jeff Darlington had to say about Tua's deal. Let's just get right into it. Enough with the pleasantries. We can get on with that later on. Let me pull this up, make sure we got it. All right, Tua's contract update. From what we've heard from Jeff Darlington, the Miami Dolphins and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa continue to negotiate a new contract. According to former Dolphins beat writer and current ESPN reporter Jeff Darlington, there is no debate of if Miami should make a deal and if they will make a deal. He says, and I quote, I don't know if this needs to be repeated or not, but Tua is their guy moving forward. Darlington stated, this is not a matter of, well, we could just move forward this year and not get this deal done. Everybody is on the same page. This is just one of those things where we just have to give it time. I would anticipate by mid-July, before training camp begins, we will see Tua with a new contract in Miami, end quote, from Jeff Darlington. So, pull this up here. What is Tua's projected deal? I guess that's where everybody's concerned. Is it the contract or is it the fact that we would just have to, Dolphins would just have to stick with him for another 4 to 5 years. I will point out, Tannehill. Thank you, Cap. Yeah, started to change it up a little bit. Get a little fresh look. But is it the fact that you got to keep Tua for 5 more years, or is it the money you got to pay him? Because I will state, if it's just because, we're signing for 4 more years, he's not the guy. Well, remember, they did the same thing with Ryan Tannehill. They extended Ryan Tannehill. He had earned the extension. He got it. They traded him 2 years later. And you could see it as that as well. It's just the way it is. And, you think about, man, $55 million a year. That's a lot of money. Well, that is the price range of what these quarterbacks are going for nowadays, especially these higher tier quarterbacks. Again, Tua's projected deal, according to Spotrac, is 4 years, $220 million. That's about $55 million a year. I'm not including signing bonus or guaranteed money, but that's what the projected deal is. Now, when you look at his peers, kind of makes sense. You take a look at, actually Pat Mahomes probably is the only one, but Pat Mahomes, the only one that is not on the same stratosphere, but that's a 10-year deal at $450 million, $141.5 million guaranteed. That's $45 million a year annually. Jared Goff is the one where I would say it's kind of, similar kind of deal. And that's about a 4-year, $212 million contract at $107 million guaranteed, $53 million a year. So the deal itself, that makes a lot of sense. Cap says, I say pay the premium instead of dictating the quarterback market. That is the way. Absolutely. I agree. And I think that's where maybe the hiccup is, do you pay him? Do you dictate the market? Do you set a new high? I don't think you should. I think you need to protect yourself as a team. I don't think this is a conversation if Tua should get paid. I think he should get paid. It's in his best interest to get paid. It's not in his best interest to play on the 5th-year option. It may be in the best interest of the Dolphins. I don't think Omar Kelly, if that's what Omar is saying, or any of those other guys, I haven't seen what they said, but I trust you, Cap. I don't think they're wrong in their opinions of playing on the 5th-year option. Hank brought it up last week. Again, I don't think it's wrong. In a perfect world, yeah, you would want to say, hey, you know what? Play on your final year. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if you could last that year. You lasted last year. Let's see if you can last this year. And then also, just as important, the most important thing, winning in December and winning when it matters. Let's see how it goes. But for Tua, that makes no business sense. It does not. Tua, again, I bring up the Connor Williams. He signed a 2-year deal. His first year with Miami, he played as a top 5 center. In the offseason, he said, hey, look, I got to be paid as a top 5 center. I want to work on this extension. Miami held firm. A lot of fans called him selfish because he held out at minicamp, I think. But he played during the regular season. He didn't hold out. And then what happened? Out for the year. Did not get paid. He's not on a team. He's a free agent. You got to look for yourself. And I understand it. And Tua's going to do that. I believe so. It makes business sense for the Dolphins right now to get it done. Because you can't go into this season with Tua holding out. Can't do it. Miami will have 0 chance to do anything this season if Tua is not under quarterback. If you're going into the season with Mike White, no way. Let me read some of Cap's comments here. Uno should get paid, but if he waits and plays the 5th year, he will get more money. It's a smart business. It's smart, unless Cap he gets hurt. God forbid Tua goes down, a hip injury, or worse, let's say he does get a concussion, even though concussions only happened last year. Let's say something like that goes down. Everybody was already calling, the majority were already calling for him to retire after the prior season from last year, the year before. If he goes down again, he won't get paid the money he should probably get paid. That's the problem. We held firm on Wilkins, X, and Connor. Now, Wilkins is gone. X is gone. Maybe good riddance. And Connor is gone. Connor got injured. Again, X and Connor, it was good for Miami just because Connor got hurt, and now you don't have an injured player on your roster. but it's not good for Connor. Wilkins, we lost a solid player. Again, if Miami had decided that they weren't going to give him the money that he thought he should have been paid, they should have got rid of him a year early. They should have traded him by the deadline. Somebody would have gave you something, except Miami stood firm and lost him for nothing. What's up, Color? Great to see you, brother. If he gets hurt again, we know where we stand as an organization. If he gets hurt again, I understand that. Again, in a perfect world, you wait. Play that 5th year. Let's see how you do. Do you win in December? Do you win a playoff game? You only played 1 year last year, 1 playoff game. And can you last the season? Does the work you put in this season, this offseason, what does it do for you this year? Let's wait this out. Yes, in a perfect world. But that's not Tua's perfect world. That's not his representation's perfect world. It would make no sense for Tua or his representation for him to start this season not on a new deal. We're the only ones in a perfect world, Again, let's see. Just running by these guys. Yeah, Jared Goff, 4-year deal at $212 million, $53 million annually, $107 million guaranteed. Justin Herbert, 4-year deal at $263 million, $219 million guaranteed, $52.5 million a season. Joe Burrow, 5 years, $275, $219 million guaranteed with $55 million annually. And then Daniel Jones, who's a name that's been brought up. I've discussed him when it comes to this deal. 4-year deal at $160 million, $92 million guaranteed, $40 million annually. Cat, let me ask you, since you're mainly in the comments here, Color now in here as well, just numbers wise, if the deal had to be done, what deal that if you saw it come through on ESPN or Sun Sentinel or Twitter, wherever you get your news, it comes through. Here, Dolphins extend Tua. You see the deal. What deal would make you go, that's not bad? Tua gets his money, but I don't feel as bad about that contract. Is it about the contract, or is it about, man, do we really need to do 3 to 4 or 5 years more of Tua? What contract would you feel good with? Cheetah's different. We're going to talk on Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's a different beast. He's being paid in the same stratosphere, just under, of what his peers are being paid. And he's a veteran. Tua's getting off his 5th-year option. Tua's still at the beginning of his career, where Tyreek is towards the end. Tyreek wants to win a ring. He wants to show that he can win without a Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So even though he should be paid, and he's going to look to get paid in the same ballpark as a Justin Jefferson, he doesn't want to handicap the team. Tua, on the other hand, is at the start of his career, in 5th year in, playing on his 5th-year option. He needs to get paid. And here's the thing. He's not going to dictate the amount he gets paid in reality. It's the market. I'm giving you the market. Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones and Tua have the exact same age. Do with that as you wish. We'll see. The deal that Darlington has was their limit. I didn't see what Darlington, I had Darlington, but I didn't see exactly what his deal was. Color. Again, Tua's projected deal, according to Spotrac, is $220 million, $105 million guaranteed. That would be a $55 million annually for Tua. That makes sense. Don't pay prematurely if we don't have to. It's the media hyping up the overpay. Sure. I think right now the Dolphins and Tua are on the same page in regards of if we got to get a deal done. I believe. What's up, Aladino? Lyles, great to see you guys. Good morning, good afternoon. Baker Mayfield. Oh, closer to Baker Mayfield money. Okay. So the Goff deal again, Jared Goff, and that's why I agree. I think Goff is a 4-year deal, $212 million, $170 million guaranteed, 53 years, $53 million a season. Fids Faithful Pod. What's up, George? Great to see you, my man. George is in the house. Guys, you know, if you're on your way to work and you want to listen to some great, amazing Fins talk, Dolphins talk, you got to go check out the Fins Faithful podcast on all your podcast platforms. You know, you turn it on, put Bluetooth on, listen to it on the radio. That's what I do. George puts on a great show when he can. He gets it out there, does his homework. Had him on the show recently, and he was great. So, guys, go check out the Fins Faithful podcast and go follow him on Twitter as well. Great dude, great content. If Jordan Love signs this week, he will set the market. Will we overpay after that signing? Depends. You know, again, if the Dolphins and Tua are on the same page on getting a deal done, I just don't think they're on the same page on what the numbers are. And again, how much of it is Miami saying, okay, you know, let's get you this deal, but we got to look out for ourselves. You know, we got to put some things in there that if you go down, you know, you are, I'm thinking the guaranteed might be the hold. I think you're right. I think you're right there. Fins Faithful Pod, guys, George, again. I think that's where it is. That's where the hiccup is. They're on the same page. They might know what the main number is, what the year annually is. What's the guaranteed money? Because again, you got to think about that injury there. And talking about, before I move on, I did pull this up because unless it totally fell off of here, let me see if I could pull this back up. Because I wanted to take a look at the numbers. We've all discussed this. I mean, we all know, again, stats at the end of the day the stats are nice. We all love stats. We go back and touch on Dan Marino's stats. You know, we've looked at all the numbers before. Stats are really good. What matters in the end to me, though, is winning important games, winning the games that matter, winning the playoffs. You know, that hasn't happened. But if you're going again with the peers and what's similar numbers, Tua last year, you know, rated the number one quarterback. He had 4,624 yards, averaged 272 a game, 29 touchdowns, 4 interceptions with a 101.1 rating. The second quarterback, Color just brought him up, Jared Goff. Goff finished, Tua's completion rating was 69.3. I know people love to talk about the completion percentage and the accuracy. Next one is Jared Goff with a 67.3 completion percentage, 4,505 yards, 269.1 a game, 30 touchdowns, 12 picks, 97.9 quarterback rating. You got Prescott, Allen, Purdy, Mahomes, Love, Stroud, Baker, Trevor, Stafford right after him. That's what Tua is using, what his representation are using, saying, hey, look at my numbers. Look at what I've been able to do compared to the other guys around the league. If Goff got $53 million a year, 270 whatever, $212 million, $170 million guaranteed, that's the ballpark. It's interesting that Spotrac, you know, you brought up Goff, maybe the benchmark for this Tua deal, $170 million guaranteed. If George is right and says that it's the guarantee that's the holdup, maybe Goff got $170 million guaranteed. Pat Mahomes got 141. Obviously, no one's compared to Pat Mahomes right now. You got Justin Herbert, $219 million guaranteed. Joe Burrow, $219. Both guys drafted the same year as Tua. Those are his direct peers. Those are the guys that will be compared. This is live, Ryan. We're live. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, same draft as Tua. They're going to be compared for the rest of their life, the rest of their career with him. They're both getting $219 million guaranteed. Spotrac says his projected guaranteed is $105 million. See the drop off? So George might be onto something here. Poop's mad at me because I made a mustard joke. Okay. Of course, Ryan, I appreciate you tuning in. Everyone watching right now. Again, man, we got some activity here in the comments. Everyone watching, whether you're on YouTube or X, Twitch, Facebook, I appreciate you guys all watching, and everyone who participates on every channel, on every show that we have here in the Fitz Talk Sports Network. Dak and Jordan Love are 1 and 2 leaders in touchdowns thrown in the NFL. Yeah, I was going on Cap, and I'm sure you're aware. I was going through total numbers, you know, how that all averages out. And again, you see, this is my thing. Here's my thing. Tua can't even get us 30 touchdowns. I don't care. This is just me. And I mean, like, obviously numbers are beautiful. 30 touchdowns. Let's get 40 touchdowns. Let's get 45, 5,500 yards. You should. You got Tyreek and you got Waddle and you got Janu now and you got all the. I think, you know, obviously it would be really nice. But again, what would it matter if he got 30 plus touchdowns, 4,500 yards, if they don't win in December and they don't win in the playoffs? That's what matters for me. Tua could be the league MVP based off numbers alone. He could have 5,200 yards, 52 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but throws those 3 interceptions in December in one game. They cost Miami the division. They go into the wild card and they get bounced in the wild card. How would we feel? I wouldn't be too happy with it, because what would it matter at that point? What link are we talking about, Kat? Thanks, Josh. Thought I'd change it up a little bit. Josh Wingate in the house. The Wayne D experience. Appreciate you watching, my man. What's he say? Shut up, Kat. Always with the boy. Well, that's an interesting word there. Oh, my. I'm loving this. I am loving it. Cap, are you asking for the link to the show? I could drop the link if you want to throw your 2 cents in. Be happy to have you to do it. Just let me know and I will. Let's see here. Let's move on. We can pop back up to the Tua talk in just a moment. But let's keep going here and let's talk about Tyreek Hill. Cheetah. A record deal for Viking star Justin Jefferson just went down. The Dolphins and Tyreek Hill are expected to work on an extension. When he was asked about a potential new deal, Tyreek had to say the following, and I quote, "Oh, it's a great day in the Hill household. Everybody's waking up happy. Wife's waking up happy. My oldest son is waking up happy. So it's a great day. But at the same time, for me, though, it's a lot of pressure because at the same time, like I said, I want to be able to help this team as much as I can. And obviously, we already know being greedy ain't going to help the team. So whatever happens, man. Hell, Tyreek Hill led the NFL with 1,799 yards receiving, tying second in the league with 13 touchdown catches and ranking second in the NFL with 119 receptions. So, the Dolphins were able to work out the deal with Jalen Waddle. They got him back with a 3-year deal at 84.75, $28 million annually, 28.25 exactly. Tyreek's deal currently is a 4-year deal at $120 million with a $30 million a year annually deal. I'm not 100% sure on the topic with Hill. What are you not sure about? Are you saying you would not want to re-sign him or extend him? Are you good with it? Because here we go. So he's saying he does not basically want to be greedy, does not want to handicap the team. Miami has a lot more needs, despite what most people say. Absolutely. Let me drop that down, Cap. I'll drop it right now. You guys, we could pop you guys in here, and you guys could give your 2 cents on Tua's deal and the Tyreek deal as we continue to go on here. But Tyreek's deal again, 4 years at $120 million, $30 million guaranteed. That's a good chunk of money. Okay. He is getting paid good money there. And he's actually not too far off from Justin Jefferson, who is at a 4-year, $140 million at $35 million annually. AJ Brown, 3 years, $96 million, $32 million annually. So he's in the ballpark of his peers. So I would assume, my assumption would probably be he might want to jump up to that 32, 33 and a half just to be within their stratosphere, but also maybe more guaranteed money so it doesn't affect the cap as much. Talking about cap, let's bring in Cap for life in the house. My brother.
Hey,
good.
Bobby,
man,
good morning. How are you?
Hanging in there, my man. What is up?
Oh, no, man, nothing much, man. Just enjoying the sun out here on a Saturday in Miami, man, and just had you guys on and started, posting out the link out on Twitter, man, because, it's time for you guys to start spreading your wings and flying, bro, when it comes to this social media frenziness that's going on right now. And people need to check you guys out, man. Where's Fish Tank, bro?
He is out today. He had an appointment with the doctor, so he's off today. So he'll be back next week. He's doing good, man, but he just needed that week. He took one of those rare days off, and I said, "Of course, my man, you deserve it." But he's taking care of that, and he'll be back next week. So
hear you, man.
He's flying solo, brother.
Yeah, man. But it's good that you have us interacting. I like the changes that you guys are doing, man. This is all inspiring growth throughout the Dolphin community, man. So I'm proud of what you're doing, my brother. You've come a long way, and regardless of the differences of opinions we have moving forward, it's all about the logo, bro. We all represent our colors strongly and faithfully. And like I said, it's not about a situation when we don't want to pay Tua. It's just a scenario where, the past 3 years we've been, under scrutiny, under investigation. We've been known to do things the wrong way. I just feel like we need to break, man, moving forward. And for me, it's just like, okay, I don't want to say don't pay the kid because he's been through hell and back. And plus his draft class is getting paid left and right. So it's just not right for the Dolphins to be left out from that aspect. It's just not right. But at the same time, it's not right to commit to somebody prematurely without knowing what you have, especially when everyone in the national, local is telling you buyer beware. They're telling you just play it out, do it the smart way. You don't necessarily have to sign him before the season starts. You can actually sign him during the season too if you want to be safe. Like, we're not saying don't pay him. Actually, we're saying if he can play the 5th year, he'll get rewarded more handsomely than ever. So for me, it sounds like I don't want the kid to succeed, but in essence, no, it's the complete opposite. If he plays the 5th year, he will succeed and surpass any contract that he wants because we will have his back when it comes to that. If he wins and takes one for the team like Cheetah's trying to do, and we end up doing first and second round, bro, we'll have his back the same way that we have questions about having his back. If it push comes to shove and he proves it in this window year, then we'll have his back.
Okay. And no, I hear what you're saying again, and I understand the line of thinking. I don't think it's wrong. Again, play on that 5th year. Miami basically has their roster set. Even though I think they need a right guard. They don't really need to hold on to any money, but and again, like I brought up before, in a perfect world, it would be wait it out, let it play out, let's see how it goes, and then, like you said, then sign the marriage papers. But that's a perfect world for Tua. It wouldn't make, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be good for him, and at least in their, I'm just thinking on their side of it, to let's not sign this deal. Let's wait, because maybe we could get that bigger deal later on in the end of the year. I'll show them, and then hits the head out for the season, and it's like, hey, look, we can't pay you that amount of money. Can't give it to you. We're going to sign you to a cheaper deal with less guaranteed, with a bunch of incentives that you have to make. Gosh, guys, the comments. So again, you see what happened with Connor. You see what happens with these other guys that do it. Business sense wise is let's get the deal done now. Cap dropped off. We'll see if Cap comes back in. But I get it. I understand that line of thinking. let's see some of these. History tells us, this is color commentary. History tells us Tua will get exactly what he's worth. If that's huge money, that's what it is. If not, that's what it is. These number crunchers or mathematicians do their job well. Color's right. He's right on the money. And Ralph, I did see you here. Ralphie boy, I was going to pop you in there, but if you dropped out too, and connections probably are bad, but guys, the link is in there. Let's get Cap back in here. All right, Cap. Sorry about that, man. You did the link drop out on you?
Nah, man, it's this cricket, man. Don't get cricket. Whoever gets cricket, bro, do not fall for the banana, bro. Their service sucks, bro.
Oh man. But do you understand? Let me ask you this, because again, I'm not disagreeing with what your logic of what you're saying.
Yeah, I understand.
But you understand what I'm saying is regards of business sense. I mean, when you're in the same ballpark in regards of numbers, right? And everybody's bringing up the numbers. When you're in the same ballpark as numbers with the other peers in your stratosphere here, and they're getting paid this crazy amount of money or this amount of money, which is the ballpark for quarterbacks in their thing. Does that, would it make business sense for Tua not to say, I need this money now because if I get hurt, I'm not going to be paid anything close to that?
Well, look, I feel like if he gets hurt and he takes one for the team, Stephen Ross will look out for him. And I, as a fan who've been pretty much advocating for us to do things a smart way, if he gets hurt doing things the right way for us, then I will advocate for him to get his money, bro. That's how it works. You take one for us, we don't forget our fallen, bro. That's how it works. It just doesn't make sense for me to try to get money when your peers that you're competing against for that money have won playoff wins. And say what you will about Herbert, he had more touchdowns than Tua has the past 2 seasons. Like everybody tries to hype up Tua about these touchdowns. Last year, he wasn't that great. And last time I checked, touchdowns are what gets points, not stats. So I get what everybody's saying, but it's just we're in a catch-22, man, where we're stuck in quicksand and we have to make a move. Because right now, I'm telling you, if the Green Bay Packers set the market and dictate that quarterback market, the Dolphins will not match it. They will not be that crazy to go ahead and try to set the quarterback market if Green Bay does that. That will be catastrophic for this organization if things do not go right the way we want this season. That's the problem. We're in a window year, and everything that's going on right now, unfortunately, is happening during a window year. You have 2 of your best players wanting more money. You have a defense that's been gutted, and you want them to do great, but they're gutted. And then you're pretty much just coming off the worst collapse in franchise history, and you want more money, but you're not showing up to OTAs and doing 11 on 11s. You got to see it from a fan's perspective. We know he wants the money, but it's not a good look what's going on so far. It's never a good look, unfortunately. We need to stop that.
Yeah, like I said, for me, when it comes to the numbers, and I know people will talk about completed. I just brought up the completion percentage, accuracy, most accurate quarterback, this, and this. That's all nice, and I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I know what you were saying. What I'm saying is, for me, what matters most. I don't care if Herbert had 45 touchdowns and Tua had 32. If Tua has a playoff win, it's all for naught. That's what I care for. I know that's what you care for, Cap. We've been dying for a playoff win.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
if you get us past the second round, all these numbers get trumped. We don't have to worry about numbers and statistics and all that. Just win. Just win. But unfortunately,
I agree with that.
In 45-degree weather, we cannot win when it's him under center. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. When it gets cold, we shrink. And that's just a fact. That's not me trying to be negative. It's just a fact.
I got you, brother.
So that's another thing the Dolphins are going to have on their side when it comes to negotiations, too.
See, G's in the house. Let's see. Before we pay him, let's remember why we ain't paid him yet. This deal would have been done year 3 if he wasn't pump faking. 1-5 against Buffalo ain't worth $23 million, let alone 43. And that's the thing here. With Tua, it's such a dividing experience to talk about. I mean, it's always a lively discussion when it comes to Tua. Look, Mahomes is not making over $50 million a year. you all tripping if Tua's getting $50 million a year. Andres, thank you for watching, man. Difference with Pat Mahomes, I will say, is that 10-year, $450 million deal. And I'm sure they'll rework that as they go on. But, he's got his Super Bowls. He's got a 10-year contract. Nobody has that. $45 million annually. Where these guys are signing 4-year deals. And you got to, for me, I would compare him more with less Mahomes, more with Herbert and Burrow. Burrow and Herbert both getting over $52 and $55 million a year, and none of those guys are Pat Mahomes. Tyreek Hill eyeing that new deal, Cap. I was just talking about that. Again, business sense, it makes sense for him to say, hey, we got to talk. Justin Jefferson gets this big deal, which is at $35 million a year. What's your thoughts on Tyreek Hill looking at this new deal? And what were your thoughts on his comments saying, hey, look, I'll let my agent deal with this, but can't be greedy? Absolutely. Goff contract is the starting point. I agree with that. That's where you go from. That's where you get from. And that's 53 years, $53 million. See, Cap, did you hear what I asked?
But let me ask you this, Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me, if my phone breaks up, man, I'll just get off and then I'll get back in the chat, man. My phone's kind of like sporadic right now. But do you think that the Dolphins are showing you that they value the wide receiver market more than paid Waddle? And Drew Rosenhaus is pretty much knowing that the Dolphins are in a window year and he wants to pay his best player. Do you think the Dolphins value the wide receiver market more than the quarterback market, knowing that the market has not been set in the quarterback position yet?
Because they paid Jalen before Tua? Is that what you're asking? That they value the receiver position more than the quarterback right now because of what they paid Waddle first? All right, looks like Cap's phone is going out, but that's okay. Color's in the house as well, and I'll let Color pop in just a second here. He is in. Get the mic. But obviously, I think the Dolphins value the wide receiver room. I think Mike McDaniel values the wide receiver position. You see that with trading for a Tyreek Hill, extending a Jalen Waddle when they did, and obviously drafting the Washington brothers, Taj and Malik. They have high value in this position, and going out Odell. The reason I believe so, that's all Mike McDaniel. I think Mike McDaniel believes that it is. I'm out with Wayne, bro. I think the Dolphins do value the receiver position a little more because they know. I mean, Tua wasn't a bad quarterback before the weapons, right? Wasn't a bad quarterback. Okay, he was a young quarterback, made mistakes, whatever. But we all know that his play went up through the roof when they brought in Tyreek and Jalen and whatever. I believe that the Dolphins know that weapons matter in this offense with Coach McDaniel. Color, are you in there, brother?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
I figured I'd come up and give you some love. I always talk and chat because Saturday mornings I try not to spend too much energy, but I did have a couple points I'd like to make since you were generous enough to drop the link. That's pretty cool.
Of course.
So the one Wayne D and I were just discussing for a second about, and he made the point that's been made a lot about, if Tua has a really great season, and let's say the thing that people don't think happens, and Tua plays on the 5th year, and then he has a jamming season, right? Well, that, leaves us with the risk of now having to pay, quote unquote, the market at that point. And that could be a lot more money. And, the thing of it is that before I get to my answer to that, let me just remind everybody that when we have these discussions and debates all over the different social media platforms, one of the most common things I hear from people that want to get the contract done now or think that it has to be done now is that, when they're out of arguments, they'll say something to the effect of, well, it's not your money. Why do you care? As if you have some vested interest in watching a man not get paid or not get what he deserves, or it becomes, that kind of, fallacious argument. You know what I mean? But that does bring up a good point. What do we care? It's not our money. We care in the respect that if it hurts our salary cap situation going forward for the next couple of years, we could expect a lesser grade team. So we as fans care from that perspective. But ultimately, it's not our money. So that's why I don't even know why the question gets brought up. Like, no, I don't care about somebody else's money, but I do care about the health of the team for the next couple of years. Right. That aside, now we get to my answer to the question of why it is or is not significant that we would have to pay more money if Tua had a great season. Because if Tua has that kind of season that we're hoping for or expecting or say deserves the big money, then he's that guy. He's him. Who cares at that point? And I'll ask the same question they always ask me. It's not our money. If he's the guy, who cares at that point? I mean, let's be real. I'm not trying to make a gotcha question or not. I'm just trying to give people a perspective to think for themselves. Like, if that ends up happening, we get raked over the coals because now what? We got our Dan Marino? Who cares? That's the one thing I can't understand. So I'll ask the same question that always gets asked to me. It ain't your money. Why do you, not you, but why does anybody care if he balls out and we got to pay more? Ain't our money.
That's fair. No, I think that's a great point, and it's true. I mean, again, and that's on Miami to figure out that contract situation, that whatever you do pay him doesn't affect you as a whole on the team.
Right. And I could see the argument that, well, at that point, more money would hurt us, our salary and the health of our team and all that. But not really, because if Tua really is that guy, I think he has graduated to the point of not needing two guys like Waddle and Tyreek. This is why I think they got out in front of Waddle to not have his salary controlled by Justin Jefferson, because they knew that Justin Jefferson deal was coming. And the moment it came, they knew that Tyreek was going to want to come back to the table, not for more money. What people are missing is Tyreek is out of guaranteed. He wants real money. It doesn't have to be huge, but given that he actually may have outperformed Justin Jefferson this year in production, the only thing knocking Tyreek is that he's a lot older than Justin Jefferson. So fair enough. Yeah, he's not going to get that kind of money, but he wants the guarantees. And they knew that when that contract was going to drop, they were going to have to be dealing with Tyreek. You know what I mean? So there is a finite amount of money. That getting to what Darlington said about, and this is where I'll conclude, getting to what Darlington said, I have to just push back a little bit a minute ago when you agreed with, I forget who it was that said, I think it was Finn's fan pod.
Finn's Faithful.
Finn's Faithful pod, who said that the starting point was Jared Goff money. And I have to personally, in my opinion, taken from what Jeff Darlington said, I would have to disagree with that. I think that is exactly what Darlington suggested the Dolphins' ultimate amount is. Ultimate means that's the highest.
That's where their stopping point is. That's their stopping point.
Right.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
So Darlington, in that clip that everybody played about him reminding everybody that the organization did say Tua they are interested in having a long-term relationship with this quarterback. They have made that clear. Darlington reminded us all of that. But if you rewind that take from the show that day, he started it by telling us what he, as the beat reporter who everybody seems to believe has inside info and all that, suggests that the Miami Dolphins ultimate, and that's the word he used, ultimately, is Jared Goff money. Ultimately comes from the word ultimate. Ultimate means that's it, like ultimatum. That's the ceiling. That doesn't mean that we've already offered that, but Tua's agent probably knows that's what our ceiling is. If Jeff Darlington knows, then I'm sure Tua's agent knows too. So I suspect that the one or two offers that have been made have been still below that Jared Goff deal.
That's a great point.
That's why we're seeing another month of waiting time to get. And I'm sure that Athlete's first offer is probably just above Jared Goff's deal because they want to save face for Tua when it comes to bravado as well. Everybody in his fan base and a lot of people outside his fan base believe, for whatever reason, maybe in projection, I don't know, that he's better than Jared Goff. He's certainly not more accomplished than Jared Goff. But obviously people's eye test is in disagreement with me. Okay, fine. I'm not going to argue that. A lot of people believe that Tua is better than Goff. So Tua and everybody involved with their bravado, I'm sure Tua don't care if it's $1 more than Goff at this point. He has to be paid more than Jared Goff in his mind. And that may be where the sticking point is at, maybe some injury incentives, as you pointed out earlier. You can't just be, the bookkeepers are not going to, and the lawyers are not going to take the risk that we're willing to take because we play Madden. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? It's
I hear you, brother.
You know what I mean? There's no way a deal's getting done without injury incentives. That's first and foremost. You know what I mean? There is no way we're going in unprotected in a long-term contract with this particular quarterback. It is what it is. I'm not saying he's still injury prone. I'm not saying any of that.
I got you.
I'm saying that they base everything on what they can go on, which is what they've seen and all that. So what I think where we're at now is the Dolphins are trying to get to a point where they can do that Jared Goff deal if they're going to do it this year. If not, placate to his side by giving him a couple bucks more. Which we can all have fun and argue about it as fans. To me, I'm done. Obviously, nobody's going to convince a staunch Tua supporter, we'll say, to be polite. Nobody's going to convince them that Jared Goff is better than him. Because if we're going on what people have done as far as earning something and all that, why is nobody talking about Baker Mayfield?
Baker signed what, a 3-year, $140 million deal?
Yeah,
I think
it's like $38 million. It might not even be Justin Jefferson money. I'd have to go look at it.
Yeah, and
he's won playoff games with 2 different teams. Goes out to LA on a decimated, injured LA team for the latter part of a season and puts up a 50 burger against somebody. He's had the 5 touchdown games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's never had a team like we've built. So when people talk about the market is the market, yeah, I get it. And I'll just finish by saying this. And you probably heard me already say it because we listen to each other. So I'm sure you heard me say this, but the market is the market. That's for sure.
That's
but
true.
So was the housing market the last time we won the division.
It's true.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people that ain't living in that $500,000 that home, that $100,000 home they bought for $500,000 anymore. Just saying,
I hear you, brother. I hear you, my man.
I'm gonna lurk back in chat, man. I gotta get off the desktop, but appreciate you having me up. Bobby Finstock, do a great job. We got to get you guys really up there, but you guys gotta share, hit the like button first of all, because that tells YouTube that people want to see it. It's interesting for people to see because the people that watched it liked it, right? So that's first and foremost. And share this thing on all your other social media platforms, people. Hit that little share button. You're already logged into Twitter. It's going to automatically go there for you. You know what I mean? To share it to Twitter and get these guys some people up in here to watch their show. They put in the time and the effort. And I think a lot of times we forget about the work they're doing over here at Fitness Talk Sports Network. So
Thank you, Color. I appreciate you, brother.
no, appreciate you, man. You have a good one.
You too, my man. Thank you so much. Color commentary in the house, man. Cat for life as well. Man, I see the comments. Steve Malloy, host of Real Talk, Fins Talk on Tuesday nights. Great to see you, man. Appreciate you guys. Man, I'm looking at these comments. You guys are going to town, and I love that. That is awesome. And again, I will say this. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You know, we're all Dolphin fans, right? And everyone, I don't believe in fan gating, you know, gatekeeping fans and whatever. We all have our own opinions and views on how, you know, what we think of our players and, you know, should we get this guy or should we get that guy, whatever, anything of that. Everyone has a right to their opinion, you know, and you have a right to share your opinion. So whether you are for Tua, against Tua, new deal, no deal, Tyreek, whatever, what matters is that Dolphin on the helmet, and do they win on Sundays, Mondays, and playoffs? That's all that matters. Ralph, no worries, my man. Ralph's right. Hey, Florida Panthers, game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals start tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central time. Go Cats, you dirty rats. Let's get them going. Don't forget to tune into that on ESPN. Let's move on here. Let's stay with the wide receiver position. Something crazy that I read up and I said I want to talk about this was somebody stating that the Dolphins wide receiver depth is an issue. Miami's biggest weakness actually was the headline. Recently, ESPN spoke about the depth at the wide receiver position being the biggest weakness for the Miami Dolphins. This is what they had to say, quote unquote. This is a very strong roster with qualified starters at every position and a good mix of backups who's either have experience or are young ascending players. The biggest issue might be the depth behind the 2 primary pass catchers. It was the biggest issue before the Dolphins signed Odell Beckham. It's less of an issue now, but there will still be a big problem if Miami lost Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. So, I will say, before the draft, especially if you guys were following us, I was saying depth at wide receiver is a major issue. Big issue. That's why I said we need to go to get a legitimate wide receiver 3. Could not go into the season with Barrios and Craig Kraft as your 3 and 4. You need to go get a guy. You don't get somebody else. Miami's wide receiver room with Jalen and Tyreek leading last year, as great as those 2 guys are, was a negative. It was not good. You saw when those guys were missing, you saw how it affected the team, the offense going forward. The greatest show on turf, greatest show on surf was not as much when those 2 guys weren't on the field. They go out, they pursue Odell Beckham until after the draft. They end up bringing him in, but during the draft, they bring in Malik Washington and Taj Washington. Some saying that either one of those guys, somebody said Taj Washington out of USC in the 7th round, was a major steal for the Miami Dolphins. Malik Washington, our friend of the network, 305 Sports Now, Will, says, man, Malik Washington out of Virginia is a great player. We're excited to see him on the team. He's even saying that was a steal. Do I believe Miami's wide receiver group is the biggest weakness on this team? Absolutely not. I believe that it's better than it was last year. You got Tyreek, you got Jalen, you still have Braxton, you got Craig Kraft. Those 2 guys aren't jokes. They're not 3 and 4s, they're more 4 and 5s. But you bring in Odell Beckham Jr., who's not Odell of old. We all know that. But if he's not Odell of the Giants, but if he could be Odell of the Rams, Odell OBJ of the Rams in their Super Bowl run, that would be amazing. He is a perfect wide receiver 3 for this offense. And Mike McDaniel wanted him. So I'm cool with that. Now you bring in Malik and Taj. Look, I know we tend to hype up players before they even play because we drafted them as Dolphins. But I do believe these guys are going to make some noise. I'm really looking forward to seeing them during the preseason. I think the Dolphins might have a very strong wide receiver room because of the depth that they have. It's one of the strongest rooms in their on their team because of the depth, more than the starters. And as great as the starters are, and they are, I don't think the wide receiver room is the biggest weakness for the Dolphins. You go with the defensive line in regards of D tackles. Who's replacing Christian Wilkins? We got strong depth. But who's going to start there? Who's going to be that guy? You look at the offensive line. Again, offensive line. I know Miami believes in their offensive line. I know Miami believes in Butch Berry and Mike McDaniel that they're going to get the job done with this offensive line. That's okay, Steve. It's all good, baby. I feel you, man. No, I'm just playing. I knew what you were saying, brother. Offensive line. They got Terran Armstead, who, again, when playing, is one of the best tackles in football. No doubt. But it's when playing. That's the key word. Okay, you got Kendall Lamb back there, which, again, Kendall Lamb, when he started for the Dolphins in place of Terran Armstead, did a hell of a job. Was really damn good. Left guard, you got Isaiah Wynn. Isaiah Wynn did not play the match last year because he got hurt. Who's your left guard after that? Exactly. Your center position. You got I think I'm forgetting his name right now. Aaron Brewer. No, that's not his name. Who's the center right now, guys? Help me out here. I don't know why. But it was Connor Williams, but the center from Tennessee, who we signed, not a very good pass blocker, very good run blocker. We're still a little iffy on him. You got right guard, Aaron Brewer. So I'm right. Okay, thank you, Ralph. Appreciate you, my man. You got the right guard spot. We lost Robert Hunt, signed major deal with Carolina Panthers, was overpaid, but still a huge loss for Miami. He's a damn good guard. We lost him. That's Eichenberg at this point. There's no one other than Eichenberg. We might extend Eichenberg next. And then right tackle, we know it's Austin Jackson. So offensive line right now for me is Miami's biggest weakness right now. T. Jones says, we need to sign Justin Simmons. Safety, even though we got Jordan Poyer, even though we got Javon Holland, safety is an issue. We need to get that third guy. I agree. Bring in a guy like that. I'm down with that. But right guard, who's your right guard? That's my problem. During OTA, Dolphins had Robert Jones at left and right guard. Appreciate you sharing that, Ralph. Thank you so much. Yeah, he was. Steve, solid every game, and we lost that. So if you feel comfortable with an Eichenberg and Isaiah Wynn at left and right guard, okay, cool. That's fine. We're more worried about the offensive line than the Dolphins are. We know that. That's a famous line. Steve plays it on his show most of the time, just so we could all remember. Connor Williams. I just talked about Connor in regards to this Tua discussion. Connor, 2 seasons with the Miami Dolphins. Everybody's talking about the snaps. The snaps, it's not just on Connor Williams. And a lot of times it wasn't on Connor Williams. Okay? It was a communication issue between the quarterback and the center. People throwing it on Connor. It wasn't just Connor. And most of the time it wasn't on Connor. Connor's issue past that situation there at snapping the ball, past that, he was a top 5 center in the NFL. He wanted to get paid last season, being paid a top 5 center. He said, they didn't want to do it. He said, okay, I'm going to play it out. I'm going to show you what I'm worth. I'm going to be paid a lot more by the time of the season. I'm going to bet on myself since you're not going to do it. He does exactly what we're saying. We're asking Tua. Some of us are asking Tua to do. He does it. Major injury. He played great. He was, again, top 5 after the snap as a center. Steve's not wrong. He's a huge loss. We lost him. We felt it. Now look where he is. He didn't get paid. He's not getting paid now. He doesn't have a job, and he's out the door. Sucks. It sucks. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch too much on the Xavier Howard stuff, man. But yeah, he's done. Good riddance. If those allegations are true, the hell with them. I believe in due process and whatnot and all that whatnot, but that's not the first time, won't be the last time, I'm sure, we hear anything like that. But no, wide receiver depth is not an issue. Again, defensive line, that's a concern. I love what they did at edge rusher. Obviously, when Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb come back, that's going to be great. Because then you got Bradley Chubb, you got Jalen Phillips, you got Chop Robinson and Mo Kamara. My goodness, that's going to be amazing. And you're not even, not Shaq Barrett as well. Add that guy in there. You look then, but then you got Zach Sealer, which ironically enough, the Dolphins are 92 days away, or football is 92 days away from playing. And Zach Sealer, who's number 92, I was just looking at his numbers earlier. I mean, I know we're all sad about Christian Wilkins, but Zach Sealer had some big numbers. But who's going to play on the side of him? That's a concern for me. But maybe, just maybe, that rotating defensive line, defensive tackles, that does something for the Miami Dolphins. Maybe Anthony Weaver has something up his sleeve. Maybe we're just saying, we sit there and we go, holy crap. I love the way this defense is being ran. We'll see. But I'm more concerned about O-line right now, which should be every year. We're about an hour in, and I wanted to talk to you guys about something very quick. As you guys can see, of course, our sponsors, our partners, Caneswear, Miami Fanswear. Guys, again, Caneswear with your Dolphins, Marlins, Panthers, especially Panthers right now, Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes. They got it all at Caneswear in Davie, Florida. You go to caneswear.com. You get all your Miami sports gear. What do you think of our linebackers, T. Jones? I like them. I like where we stand. I think Baker is going to be a loss, but I do believe Jordan Brooks is going to be an improvement. I would have liked an additional piece there, whether through the draft or free agency. Miami didn't do that, so I think they believe they're okay at this point. But I don't think it's the biggest issue. I don't think it's the biggest weakness. Again, offensive line is a major concern for me. And then safety. Who's that third guy? Even if the Miami signed Jordan Poyer, who's going to be good. I'm excited for Jordan Poyer with Javon Holland. They still wanted to bring back Deshaun Elliott. He ended up signing elsewhere. Miami, they drafted the kid out of Cal. Forgetting his name right now. I still think a third safety is necessary for the Miami Dolphins. Guys, let me pull this up very quick. The Dolphins right now, last year were the number one offense in football. There's many nicknames for the Miami Dolphins right now because you got the Zoo Crew with Tyreek and Cheetah. You got Tua back there, who we're talking about a major extension. Now you got OBJ. Dolphins are the greatest show on surf, right? The number one offense in football. I wanted to add this in here. I wanted you guys to check this out. New look, new gear. Let me turn off this camera and show you guys this story. The greatest show on surf. Let me pop this up very quick. Check out this gear, guys. Pull this up right here. I want to show you some of this. Now, you look at this. Big D energy. Big Dolphin energy. I love that shirt. One of my favorite shirts is right here. Is the bobblehead shirt. Think about this. Going around wherever you may be. Whether you're in Miami, out and about, getting groceries, or you're Texas like Steve, or Tennessee like me, or Delaware like Brett, wherever you may be, think about how you would turn heads. People will be asking, where the hell did you get that shirt? And you got that Miami Dolphins Abbey Road t-shirt. Or you got this BD energy, BDE, Big Dolphins energy. Again, my favorite shirt. Here's a sweater. Is this bobblehead one. I love that. You got Mike McDaniel, got Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Tua, Raheem Mostert. That's one of my favorite shirts right there. You go back here for a second. This Big D energy. It's one of my favorite ones. I love the pun. This is from the greatest show on surf, guys. These guys, they just reopened a new site. They got this brand new gear. They are really killing it over there. If you love Tua and you want Tua to be signing that extension and you want to represent QB1, check out this Tua tee hand drawn. Now that's a beauty. That is a beauty. But if you're walking around, you're out and about doing your normal routine, or if you're going live to a stadium, whether that's anywhere away from Dolphin Stadium or you're going to travel to the Rock at Hard Rock, people will be asking you, where the hell did you get that shirt? You got Jalen Ramsey, you got Jalen Waddle, you got amazing shirt. Guys, greatestshowonsurf.shop. Go check it out. They got new stuff coming on. What am I clicking here? Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these shirts up close. They got men, women, children. They got mugs. They got hats. Great prices. There's the Dolphin skull collection right there. I love that. That's really cool. I have that Greatest Show on Surf Tyreek Hill shirt. You got some sweaters there, classic edition. Look at the happy face. That's really cool for the hippies. Got the cheetah, the zoo crew represent. I love this one. Welcome to 305. Got Braxton Berrios, Odell Beckham, and Jalen Ramsey. That's an amazing shirt. Guys, go check it out. The Greatest Show on Surf.shop right now today. And you could save money here. First off, the prices are great. But you could save an extra 15% if you use code FINSTALK. If you use code FINSTALK, you get 15% off. They ship anywhere in the United States. They got a great team, guys, a great team over there. And they're diehard Miami Dolphin fans. So let's support one of our own. Go check it out. And again, use code FINSTALK. Use code FINSTALK. Let me get me back in here for a second. And represent your Miami Dolphins with some amazing merchandise. Greatest Show on Surf. Pull this up here. Right. Yeah, there you go. Greatest Show on Surf. Code FINSTALK. Save 50% off. The bobblehead shirt. Let's see, Raphael had a comment there. I have an old t-shirt from the 90s with bobbleheads. Remember that little penny? See, there you go. And now you could have a new one. You could have a brand new one. And guys, again, check them out. Try to get in there every week or every month, whatever you can. See the new stuff they got coming on. They got exciting things going on over there at the Greatest Show on Surf, especially as the season goes on. The Dolphins are the number one offense in the NFL. They were last year. The way it's looking, the way this offense is built, minus offensive line, it looks like they're going to do that again. So don't forget, go over to the Greatest Show on Surf.shop. Check out their merchandise. Represent your favorite football team. Represent the Greatest Show on Surf and the greatest football team with this amazing merchandise. Everyone, hey, look, I appreciate everybody tuning in. It was old school. I'm by myself here, but that's okay. I'm down with that. We had a great show. Thank you, Color Commentary, Ralph, Cat for Life for hopping on. Ralph, I know you're trying to hop on, but I appreciate you doing that. Everyone in the comments, everyone who participated, thank you so much. Raphael, T. Jones, Ryan AP, McD, Steve Malloy, host of Real Talk Finstalk. Catch him on Tuesday nights at 7:30. The Wayne D Experience, Color. Trying to make sure I get everybody. Forgive me if I miss some. Let's see here. 72 Undefeated, Fins Faithful Pod. Everyone who tune in, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Thank you all. I appreciate you. Until then, like, subscribe. Most importantly, fins up. Don't forget, though, stop right here. Tonight, if you're a wrestling fan, join me and Josh Kimmel on the No Wrestling Podcast. We are going to review episode 1 of Who Killed WCW, the Vice series, produced by The Rock. We're going to talk about the latest news in wrestling, but especially talk about that because if you were a WCW fan like me, let's talk about it, man. There's so much to talk about. So for wrestling fans, join me again tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time, same channel right here. Till then, like, subscribe. Most importantly, as always, I appreciate you and fins up. Thank you, guys.